exploits here, and today we pick up where we left off in our Nmap series. This is a continuation of the basic commands, and in this video we'll be looking at how to scan specific ports that you're targeting in a system. So first things first, you need to remember that you'll always have this web address to their servers, and they are giving you permission to test out whatever commands or scripts you want to run with Nmap. But remember that this server is accessible to just about anyone teaching themselves, so you don't really need to keep hammering the server. 2-3 scans a day is enough to get yourself started with whatever command you're trying to set up. So accessing Nmap for Windows and Linux users is essentially the same. You just go to your command prompt or your terminal, launch Nmap, or launch the terminal, type in Nmap, and if you have successfully integrated it, it will come up immediately. So this is just what I'm going to do. You can follow me, or you can watch the video to the end and try the same. Again, running Nmap doesn't necessarily require root access, but certain scripts that you run if you are doing cross-platform scripting with Nmap, you might or might not require access or elevated privileges. So whatever I'm going to do, you don't necessarily need root privileges, but I like having root privileges, so in that way, if anything fails, I know where to start troubleshooting. So to launch Nmap, you'll quickly type in Nmap, check if it's running. It gives you the version and some of the basics, gives you the specifications that you can use and the options that you have. So what we're going to do first of all is we're just going to scan the Nmap server without passing any specific instructions or options for the same. And while that scans, I'm also going to mention that I'll show you how to export or save these scans into, say, a TXT file or a file that you can evaluate later on for whatever pen testing report you might be doing. In case you might have missed something during the process, if you export the scans, it becomes much easier to trace your steps and know what went wrong or where something can go wrong. That took a while, roughly 49 seconds, but it will honestly not matter how fast your internet access is, because what it does, it scans 1,000 ports. That's by default. That's what Nmap will do, and it will tell you how many closed ports you have, and whatever service or whatever IP address you are scanning, it will tell you all the services that are running. So in such a scenario, when it tells you that 760 ports are closed, that means we have roughly 240 open ports that are running various services, and all these can be for various needs. So if you are trying to check out the website, as we have seen, they have a HTTP page, so clearly that's what's running there. Secure shell login, they have that. They have shell, they have so many services that you can try and practice the different skills that you can learn. The reason that this is not advised or might be bad practice is because you are essentially fetching so many ports, you are scanning so many ports, trying to understand what's running there, but in truth you will not be interested in all these ports. So for example, you wanted to check if the secure shell port is up and running, that's port 22. It's much better for you just to put in that specific command into your Nmap command and export the same. So for example, if we wanted to save this, all you have to do is, let's see, we're in Conan, so we can just put in test1, and what this will do is it will save whatever results of the Nmap scan into that specific file name. And remember, you can always add an extension, say txt, to just save it as a text file, but there will be no much difference in how it's saved, because at the end of the day you'll get your results. While that scans, let's open up another terminal, check my local IP address. I'm on Wi-Fi, so this is it. I'm just quickly going to scan it, and we are going to check if the SSH port is up and running, and with that we'll be able to target a specific port, and that will be the end goal of this tutorial. And yeah, let's see how this works. So once complete, you see that it has saved it, and it hasn't displayed the results, because essentially you've just pointed them to that point. So we clear this, we can list out files, and we have test1, so we can just quickly cut test1 and see what happens. So again, from the same result, this time around it tells you 995 closed ports, and these are the 5 ports that are up and running. So with this kind of information, you see that your initial scan, you have a record of what you did. So if we were to do it again, we can save in another file, and you can be able to check your entire progress throughout your journey. And this is very, very important for anyone who is in the pen testing business. So quickly we check what we are going to use. We are going to use a grep tool, because essentially we want this to be in a grepable manner. We want it to be orderly, and we also want to be able to see this. So what we're going to do is Nmap. We are going to use O capital G. We put in the same scanme.nmap.org. Remember, we want to use a port. We want to save this, and we also want to target a very specific port for the same. So what we do is we put in, say, our local IP address. Let's cancel that. Let's clear this. Let's check the IP address again. Let's come back here. So that's going to be Nmap. So this is the IP address we're looking for. You can put that in. The next thing is we can now pass in the port that we're looking to scan, and this is going to be port 22. And now we want to be able to see every single step that's happening, so we need to have a verbosity on the same. And now we need to be able to save this to another file for us to track our progress. So once that is up and running, you see it runs pretty quickly because I'm essentially scanning my own laptop. So we can list it out. We have test2, and we can cut test2 to see whatever is there. So let me close this, and this is what we get. It took 0.13 seconds to get all that, but for results sake we can change this. And now we'll be going to scan the Nmap ScanMate website, and we are looking specifically into port 22, and we want to save the results into test2 and look at what happens with that. So this time around we can just simply say test2.txt, just to have a txt file for the same results to IPs using this. So this is another thing. Essentially with Nmap, you can't keep hammering their system. So for protection purposes, they have just locked you out temporarily, but it is something that you can repeat again and again. So let's clear that. Let's check the IP address of the same. A quick shortcut with a terminal, just hitting the up and down arrow allows you to quickly scroll through whatever commands you might have initially put in, and you can edit this quickly on the fly. So let's just go back to my IP address, and let's try to see if there's a port 80 on the same network. We can now cut test2 to see, it says port 80 closed. So that's essentially how you can be able to target quick ports very fast. You can save the results for future reference, and this is a very good tool for you. So you can keep practicing that, and in the next video we'll continue where we left off. We'll go into more advanced steps, into pen testing, into scanning, into footprinting. And always remember that the search engines are your best friends. Before you go into scanning any web address, any IP address that you pick up from anywhere, just do some basic footprinting with your search engines, whatever your preference is. Get the basics right, and going forward it will be much easier for you. If you find the content helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and you'll always be notified on any video we put up. Thank you.